Alright, what's going on out there, y'all? I'm back with another quick volume of welcome to the franchise here. Want to tap more back into the NFL draft and get into another quick video about New York football, like I was talking about in my previous one. I started with the Giants and what they should do, and just how terrible between both the franchises in the city have just been. They've been atrocious when it comes to drafting or the roster moves they've been making in the past few years, the past couple years, especially for the Jets. I want to get into what they should do in this draft to try and turn some shit around for right now and for the future. We see all the silly ass shit they've been doing for the past, fucking 10 plus years. Motherfuckers ain't even made the playoffs in 15 plus years or some shit like that. The longest standing playoff appearance drought in North America or whatever, or in the country, whatever, however you want to categorize that shit. But that is embarrassing and pathetic. And me, like I was saying in the previous video, I like to see New York sports in a good space with good energy and good vibes, but especially in football, which is a sport more near and dear to my heart than basketball. It would be good to see these fucking two teams actually get their shit together, turn it around, and have some New York fans, like true diehard New York fans of both of these teams, something to be proud of. So with that being said, I'm going to get straight into it and talk about what I think the Jets need to do or should do in this year's draft that could help them actually end this season, and also to help set them up in years to come to actually be a fucking respectable looking franchise, and shit, who knows, actually be a fucking playoff or a championship contender at some point soon. So first I started by this same message. I think that they need to trade back and get extra picks. They probably don't need to get an OD amount of picks like that, like I was kind of saying with the Giants. But I think a couple moves here and there in this draft could really help that, where they could hit some pieces and build around what they already have, and being a competitive team that might fuck around and, I don't know, I won't say sneak into being a wild card, but damn near. But I know a lot of teams think shit, even me a little bit at one point, they're probably going to be a 5-6 win team. I think that Aaron Glenn's probably a better coach than that. They still got a lot of players from the roster the year before and the year before that. So I don't think it's going to be that bad or whatever. I'm not saying they're going to make the playoffs, but shit, if they do shit the right way with the right coaching and the right roster building, roster movement, they might fuck around and be that, but we'll fucking see. So what I think is, I think they need to trade where they're at right now, number 7, right, in the first round. I think that they should try and trade back. What I think they should really do is try and trade back with a team like the Bears. Try and trade back to number 10. Maybe get that extra second round pick from them, if that's even possible. Because I think that the Bears really want Ashton Jeanty. I think that's their guy, that's their man. If it's not Ashton Jeanty, they got another offensive lineman or a tight end in mind, which a lot of people out there saying it's either Tyler Warren or it's going to be Will Campbell for them. I don't think Will Campbell's going to drop that far. If he did, that'd be crazy. If he did, the Bears, I guess, will go to him. Even if he dropped to number 7 to the Jets, I think they should make that pick. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Patriots are going to smarten up after the Abdul Carters or Travis Hunters are going there, and they're just going to get an offensive lineman to continue to protect their guy, and Drake May is their franchise quarterback. So what I would do is trade back to number 10 if I can. If Ashton Jeanty's still on the board, you might as well come up and get your guy. Chicago at number 7 with Ashton Jeanty, since motherfuckers is making all this talk about Jeanty being taken in the top 10 or the top 5. Motherfuckers is even saying the Raiders, might be taking him at number 6, which I think is kind of crazy. I still think that the Raiders are still in play to take Shador at number 6. So if that were to happen, then yes, you make this trade with the Bears. Now, if Ashton Jeanty actually does get picked by the Raiders, then what do you do there? I think the Bears right there, they're not going to be inclined to come up to number 7 unless you make another kind of trade with them. I know this is going to sound wild crazy, but it's what came to my mind here. If Jeanty gets picked at number 6, and let's say the Bears still want a running back, try and finesse it down, see how bad they want a running back, right? And maybe, especially with some of the talk and me, I'm of the philosophy, don't get me wrong, I love running backs. I love a good running back, all that. But sometimes, especially when they have a couple injuries or they don't, they're not producing up to par, I think when you see over the years, it's kind of smart with some positions, some running backs, to move off of them early, even if they're still able to be productive earlier than later. So I'm thinking some crazy shit like, okay, trade Breece Hall to the Bears. See if you can entice them for their want for a running back, even though they already have a veteran running back on the team. Breece is younger, still productive. Try and trade Breece for them 2 second-round picks from the Bears, or at least finesse one of them from them. That way they get their running back. You get an extra pick in the second round. You know what I'm saying? So, and then even if they want to do that, trade up to 7. I don't think they'll trade up to 7 there. I think it'll just be one of the second-round picks or both. Shit, if you can finesse that or whatever. But now you got extra picks in the second round. But where I went here just to start off, of course, like I was saying before, like everyone's doing out there for fun, of course, in the spirit of draft season, I did the mock draft simulator. So what happened was Genty ended up getting picked by the Raiders. And then I got a trade offer from the Niners to go back to number 11 and get the pick number 43. So what I did here with the first pick in round 1 at number 11, I took Kelvin Banks at offensive tackle. I think this is the solid for sure pick. Keep building around the O-line because you don't have a legit elite quarterback there yet or anything like that, but you keep building around that O-line for the run game, for the running backs you do have. Let's say, obviously in this case, the Jets would still have Breece Hall. So keep building around that O-line so he could run. Justin Fields could run a little bit, and he has protection when he has to throw the ball. And honestly, I see a lot of the Armand Membu shit out there all over the place. I looked at his tape. I looked at some of his highlights and everything. Yeah, he's good, but this is not a position where you want to pick someone who might be a project or an experiment, even though he had a great he had a great combine and all this shit everyone keep talking about, went viral and everything like that. I'm not picking someone like him at 7 because from what I've seen, and good thing that the video I did click on, it showed some of the bad stuff about him too. It showed mainly good stuff, of course. I mean, he's whatever, high prospect. But to me, he looks really experimental for a right or a left tackle. His leverage on his lower body looks shaky. He's got power in his upper body. He could finish, some people at the initial hit. But I'm seeing him having a little trouble even finishing little guys, or a little safety like a wiry safety that'll come down on the blitz or come in the box and everything might fuck around and shake him up and give him a hard time in the NFL. We're not talking about college no more. And he looks like a little bit like a project or an experiment, and it looks a little. He's a big dude, all of that. For that, I don't know why Jets fans want to get him. That should low-key remind you of a fucking Becton. So you want to take him over the short thing like Kelvin Banks, you know what I mean, who you look at his tape and he's finishing the linebackers, the defensive ends, forget about the DBs. He's running out there on screen plays to get hands on them and erase them out of the screen. A lot of the highlights I've seen with Banks, he's completely sealing off on blocks. No one's getting to the running back or to the quarterback. He's got good balance and everything, great strength. Short things been doing for a while, playing in the SEC also and playing against more real pass rushers. I get that. I think Missouri's in the SEC also, right? I'm not sure if I remember if they still are, but I just don't think that there at this position, you should make that pick with something that's experimental a little bit, and then that leverage it's just too shaky for me. Even in his good plays, what Membu, I seen that shit. But that's what's gonna happen when you listen to the fans. If you keep drafting like you want to listen to the fans, like you've been doing the last 5 years, that's why you're gonna keep being ass. You're gonna listen to them to trade for Aaron Rodgers. You're gonna listen to them to draft this person, that person, this person, that person. They all don't end up being shit. And you don't do nothing. You don't get to the playoffs. You don't do nothing. That's what's going to happen when you keep doing that shit. So I think the smart pick and the best pick here, if you trade back at number 10 where he slotted at between 10 and 16, Kelvin Banks is the sure thing. And I get it. Motherfuckers is like, oh, they should get a tight end because they passed on Bowles last year. They should get. Why are you getting a tight end? You don't have a quarterback. You for damn sure don't have no quarterback of the fucking future. Why are you picking a tight end in the first round? Like, what the fuck sense does that make? If you don't have a quarterback or your whole roster not built, it's not a bad thing to draft an offensive lineman that you can have there for 10 years. Now you don't got to worry about that down the line when you're like, damn, you got a good tight end, but we don't have a quarterback and we don't have protection for a quarterback to throw to him. Like, what the fuck sense does that make? But anyway, moving on after the trade there in round 2, trading with the Niners, like I said, I got pick 42 and 43. So with number 42, went safety here with Xavier Watts, who is a defensive back who's going to get his hands on the ball and also come down in the box and make some tackles. He's a playmaker, maybe not as fast, but you got Cisco back there. I think they got JBC, the dude out of LSU a few years ago. He made some plays in the preseason, or you heard about him in some training camps last year or the year before that, just watching a bunch of preseason football and shit. But, you know, you got Xavier Watts who could come down in the box also while Cisco's playing the free. He's physical and he likes to get his hands on the ball, make some plays. And then at number 43, I know this is going to sound crazy, especially with what I was talking about reaching on these quarterbacks. Don't get me wrong. I think that this dude is a third-round quarterback with some second or first-round potential type talent. So I think it's kind of valid to pick him here. And for this team, I think they got to do this. As crazy as it's going to sound. But at 43, Jalen Milroe, you got to take him there. You got Fields, you got Tyrod Taylor, 2 perfect quarterbacks for him to back up and learn behind as he gets his career started. He doesn't have to play and start right away because there's definitely some big fucking flaws to his game. But the nigga fast as hell. He big as shit. He got a big-ass arm that's going to be able to survive and play in the Meadowlands and play through the winters and all that shit, right? And I think that for some reason, his comp to me, I'm not seeing this nowhere else and that, but just to me, with the trajectory, how how they both came out of college and their careers in college and everything like that, and how their game is going to be able to translate as professionals in the L, and you see it to this day. To me, it kind of gives me a bit of the mold of a Jalen Hurts. Not saying he is Jalen Hurts or exactly like it. The mold of a Jalen Hurts, where, you know, you could let him chill on the bench for a year or two. I know Jalen Hurts, I think it was just a year or half a season, but they built the offense around him where it's like, all right, we're going to start you off first running the ball first. We know you could throw. You're maybe not as accurate, but you have an arm. We know you could throw, but we're going to build around you running first, and then we're going to ease you in the passing game, and you're going to get it to the receivers you got to get it to, and we'll build around you there. I think that the Jets got to go with that game plan with drafting someone like a Jalen Milroe, and I think that is the best scenario for them as far as the QB situation that they always been fucking up on. You know what I mean? And I think that to keep it a buck, even though, you know, we don't know what they're going to be with the new coaching and everything like that, but I can't see Aaron Glenn being that terrible of a coach where they're going to be a 5-1, 6-1 team or being the top 5, top 10 of picking, right? They're not going to be bad enough next year to draft in the top 10 or the top 5. They're not going to be bad, so you got to take him here so you get your guy to develop. Who else you going to fucking go with? All them other motherfuckers that ain't got no juice, no pop. Will Howard later on in the draft. Kyle McCord later on in the draft. Small dudes that just, yeah, they could play. They could play the quarterback position a little bit, but what juice and pop do they really have? How they going to hold up for the next 5 to 10 years with the Jets? And you already got a little guy like that whose arm is all right, and Torp is like, and Jordan Travis there, who, you know what I mean? You still got to see if he's even going to make the roster bouncing back off a crazy injury. And then if you don't pick him, actually that might not be a bad scenario either because, hey, who knows if Jordan Travis might actually fuck around and be the damn quarterback of the future for this franchise. They don't even know it. He could fuck around and be like a Russell Wilson type on that roster and come out of nowhere if they don't draft Jalen Milroe. But I think that this is the pick here. Like I said, I don't think they're going to be bad enough to be picking top 10, top 5 for, the best surefire, no questions, don't have to think about it, quarterback prospect, because that's what the Jets are always gonna fucking need. Because when it comes to picking quarterback, these motherfuckers could fuck up a cup of coffee quick when it comes to that situation. They will fuck that shit up real bad. So you might as well do it here where you could stash them for a season, and learn from guys that were mobile and had big arms, and it took them a while. It took, because still taking Justin Fields a little minute to get accurate passing, but it took Tyrod Taylor a little minute to get accurate with the ball, but he got there. He always had good arm talent. Justin Fields has good arm talent. He's not accurate yet, but they were runners coming out early in their career. Running quarterbacks. Get a guy in that same kind of mold, learn from them, then you start building the offense around, and he has a big arm as well. And now you have your quarterback for the future. You know what I mean? And you molded him and supported him and everything like that to be successful for the near future. But that's if you got the right coaches, the right mindset, and all that shit, which most likely with the fucking Jets, even though I like Aaron Glenn, they ain't got that shit. Now, following round 3, this is where you have a chance now with value to go ahead and get you a receiver like a tight end. And Elijah Arroyo out of Miami, smooth route runner, good with his hands, can make plays after he makes the catch as well. You know what I mean? Now you go for the tight end and Elijah Arroyo right there. Now, round 4, this is where I'm going to get a little crazy here, but you're going to need this. You're going to need depth there, and you're going to need some juice there and pop, because you got one dude in this unit, which the position I might say to draft here. You got one dude that just jumps off the page, and he has all the juice. The rest of them is all about strength, grit, try hard, which you like that also, and everything like that, and power and force. But we're going to go edge here in round 4 and get someone like a Q Robinson, who might be a bit of a project, but a good one. He's got juice and pop. He's long. Q Robinson, the edge rusher out of Alabama. Take him. Or if he's not there, if someone has the same mindset as that, an actual real franchise that actually wants to draft for football and shit, and he's going already, then get the dude APR out of VTech. Antoine Powell-Ryland out of VTech, since you still want those guys who just went off power, trying hard, but he's got a little twitch to him and a little quickness and juice to him as well. So get APR out of VTech. And then later on, I think just one other little trade that I made, that I accepted, I think it was at pick 73. Carolina offered pick 74 and I think 140. And I took that because I was like, well, it's just one pick or whatever. So that'd be round 5. And in round 5 right here, a little bit more juice and some pop now on the offensive side, because I think I feel like it's mainly just big body guys, or just, they're fast, they're big and everything like that. Cool, but you need someone that's going to make motherfuckers miss. A little bit of juice, a little bit of power. Like, we don't know what he's going to do. Instead of the predictable, off tackle, in between the tackles, or whatever. Running back Brashard Smith out of SMU, who used to play receiver at Miami. He used to play receiver and special teams punt return at Miami. Switching to running back when he transferred to SMU. This dude has lateral movement. He could juke. He's got some speed. It's not all the way breakaway, but he's got some speed. So he's kind of a good replacement for maybe a Breece Hall if you trade him away. Or even if you still have Breece Hall and you want to look to trade him during training camp or during the season as a piece to get another starter during the season, you have that running back there who provides another element that can make guys miss, a little bit more twitchy, and could play a little bit of special teams, and could be a good receiving back. Because I don't know if they really have another receiving back outside of Breece Hall, who sometimes has his drops and gets hurt, and doesn't want to play up to his standard and shit like that at times. So Brashard Smith there. Now, I think that was the extra pick from 140 from the Panthers, and now 145 at round 5. I think right here is where you can go receiver, because I'm seeing a lot of people be like, yo, they gotta go receiver early, Jaden Higgins and this, that. I'm like, nah, you ain't gotta do that. And with the quarterbacks they're gonna have, let the young quarterbacks they're gonna have, let them depend on the tight end. Elijah Arroyo's a perfect target right there first. And then here's where you go receiver, and you take a guy like Pat Bryant out of Illinois, or Andrew Armstrong out of Arkansas. Big body receivers. They look short-handed. They look like they're always going to be open, but I'm leaning more towards Pat Bryant, because That motherfucker can move a little bit after the catch. He can move in his routes. He could take reverses and he can move. He got some speed to him. He can move. And he's a big target. He makes contested catches, some crazy contested catches in his highlights. So Pat Bryant wouldn't be a bad look here. And then later on in round 6, I think there's 3 more picks the Jets will have left besides the ones that I got the trades for. So my last 3 picks, whatever those numbers are at, for more speed, if you want the speed in the pot, which the Jets definitely need some more of at receiver, Jimmy Horn Jr. If he's going to slide all the way down in the 5th, 6th, 7th round, you take Jimmy Horn Jr., now you got extra receivers and everything like that, and you got speed, you got shorthand, and he can run after the catch. You got a tight end now who's a shorthand. Of course, we know who Garrett Wilson is. You still got Malachi Corley in the cut, although niggas don't know what the fuck he's gonna be. He's probably gonna be playing for another fucking team at some point. And then just in case, you at least have a couple receivers there to build out a receiver core in case this motherfucker Garrett Wilson's like, yo, fuck this shit. I'm over this. Y'all motherfuckers bullshitting. We still losing. Ain't make the playoffs. I'm out. I want to trade. You know what I mean? Even though they're probably going to pick up his 5th option, but he could still be like, yo, fuck that. Before the new contract, I want to trade. I want a new contract where I know I'm going to win somewhere for the next 5 years and get paid instead of playing with y'all bums. So at least you have a tight end and 2 receivers in the cut that you have a receiving core with. You got Pop and Juice with Jimmy Horn Jr. with the speed. You got short-handed, move the sticks, and run after the catch and Pat Bryant. And if you keep Malachi Corley, you got him also, and you got Elijah Arroyo. So your receiving is kind of, I won't say set, but could build and grow for the future also in case you have a problem with Garrett Wilson not winning, which I would too, playing for that dumbass franchise. So you got that, and then at defensive tackle, I know all these, all them want the Jets to pick someone high, maybe a Mason Graham if he falls to number 7, or get a defensive tackle in the 2nd round. When I feel like there's good defensive tackles all over here as well, but I think you could get a good defensive tackle anywhere from being undrafted the 5th round. Let me remind motherfuckers, Chris Jones again is a 5th round pick, 3-time champion for the Chiefs. Just remind y'all that. Just make sure you know. So your last pick or whatever be defensive tackle, Simeon Barrow out of Miami, who definitely popped out a lot during the season, everything like that. Shit, surprise, surprise, spoiler alert. I'm a fucking University of Miami fan, been my whole life when it comes to college football. But I seen him play. There ain't no bias shit. Like, he popped out a lot, and that's not bad. That's not a bad pick to me. Later on in the round, on top of the fact that you already got a dude from Miami who you still got to see what he could do, and I think he flashed a little bit in some highlights I saw last year, and Leonard Taylor for the Jets. But he's young. Give him a chance to develop. He might fuck around and emerge as somebody. Now you got another dude in case Quentin Williams is like, I'm tired of being in the playoffs. I know I got paid to get me the fuck out of here. Now you got 2 motherfuckers in there. So, and you waited all the way to the end to get the defensive tackle instead of, wasting a pick in the 2nd, 1st, or the 3rd round when you could be getting another, corner or something like that. And that was another position I was saying. If it's not Simeon Barrow, it looks like he's sliding, but just in case also someone gets hurt, like a Michael Carter who be getting hurt now, or you need another starter opposite a Sauce, but could get his hands on the ball instead of just covering and tackling and getting burnt and tackling. Mello Dotson out of Kansas, the dude on the other side of Kobe Bryant, who be going for the ball. Mello Dotson, he gets the ball, and he could play the outside. If he got to play the inside in the NFL, I honestly wouldn't doubt that. So those last picks to me, really, after you get your receiver and Pat Bryant, you get another one, Jimmy Horn Jr., or Jimmy Horn Jr., Mello Dotson, and Simeon Barrow. Boom, round out your draft right there for the Jets. And now you on point. You probably look like a legitimate franchise that actually might get into the fucking playoffs after fucking 100 years in the next couple seasons. You know what I mean? So that's going to wrap this one up here for me, though, of welcome to the franchise, and wrap up the whole thing of trying to bring back New York football and have them look respectable between both teams, both franchises in the cities. But that'll wrap that one up for me here. Y'all out there, be easy.